We've reached the final Sunday before Christmas, and this week's theme is peace. Today, we're back in the first verse of Hark the Herald Angels Sing, looking at the line, God and sinners reconciled. But what does that mean? It's not something I've really stopped and thought about before. It's always just been a fluffy line in one of the carols which I love to sing out at the top of my voice as Christmas approaches, in the candlelit carol service or on Christmas morning. But if there's a reconciliation, then surely there must have been division, conflict, separation. So whilst the birth of Jesus is right at the beginning of the New Testament, the need for Jesus to come down and live amongst us has its origins way back in Genesis 3, in the Garden of Eden, where the serpent deceived Eve. Eve deceived Adam, and Adam hid from God. Adam had figured out that he was naked, yet he seemed to think that hiding from God was an effective strategy. Surely, after living in paradise with God, he must have had some clue. It reminds me of when I was a child and knew that I had done something so terrible that I would hide from my parents, as I couldn't see any other way forward. Many years on, as a parent myself, I know that my parents would know exactly where to find me. They knew my ways, but they chose to leave me to return in my own time. In the Garden of Eden, God calls out, "Where are you?" and goes on to get Adam and Eve's side of the story. And yet, even in the midst of banishing them from the garden, Genesis 3:21 tells us that God made garments of skin for Adam and his wife, an act of love and care to temper the consequences of their sin. So, back to the Gospels and to the heart of Christmas. God coming to live among us. From the very beginning there is conflict, deception, murder. The wise men seek advice from Herod. They ask him directions, and Herod knows exactly who to ask. He directs them on to Bethlehem and asks them to let him know where to find this king. But not surprisingly, he's outwitted by both God and men, even when he orders the murder of every baby and young child in a whole community. Jesus' life on earth had scarcely begun, so Herod wasn't about to succeed in ending it so soon. And yet, Herod is just an extreme example of the selfishness which pervades our human nature, and which led to the separation between God and man. In every one of us, there is the conflict between God's way and human nature. The temptation to take the forbidden fruit, because why would God put something so attractive in front of us if not for us to enjoy? Romans 5 begins, "Our faith in Jesus transfers God's righteousness to us, and he now declares us flawless in his eyes." This means we can now enjoy true and lasting peace with God, all because of what our Lord Jesus, the Anointed One, has done for us. Our faith guarantees us permanent access into this marvellous kindness that has given us a perfect relationship with God. What incredible joy bursts forth within us as we keep on celebrating our hope of experiencing God's glory. And in John 14:27, we read, "I leave the gift of peace with you, my peace." Not the kind of fragile peace given by the world, but my perfect peace. Don't yield to fear or be troubled in your hearts. Instead, be courageous. So there may be a little piece of Herod in all of us. It's human nature. But through faith in Jesus and following him, we can be reconciled to God and enjoy perfect peace. No matter how many times we mess up, he's waiting for us to come back to him, and he has so much more in store for us than we can ever imagine. So, God and sinners reconciled. Jesus' birth was just the beginning, as we will see tomorrow.